Mad Max came out in 2015, which was a year littered with big releases. You had The Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Dying Light, and I could keep going, so it's natural that Mad Max was a bit swept under the rug. I mean, I knew that it came out, but I didn't play it until now, and I did play the other games. And that's a bit of a shame because Mad Max is a good game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not a brilliant game, you're not gonna finish it and then sit there for a while and contemplate what an amazing journey you had. No, but for what it is, it's a good game. But what exactly is Mad Max? Well, to put it simply, it's Batman Arkham Knight, but in the desert, and instead of the Joker, you are fighting dehydrated half-naked men. So don't come into this game expecting a masterpiece in terms of story because it's actually quite shitty. It's a generic story of trying to get from point A to point B, and to prepare for the journey you are fighting bad people in the process. But I have to say that the characters are actually pretty good. Starting with the madman himself, Max. He gives off Batman vibes and he's overall pretty cool, there's nothing else I can say about him. But Chum Bucket on the other hand, he is the main man. His overall presence makes the game so much better. And I think the story is one of the reasons this game was underappreciated, because all those games that I mentioned at the beginning not only were good games, but they also had good stories. So it's pretty natural that people prefer to play those games over this one. However, Mad Max sold almost 2 million copies, which is pretty good considering it's a Mad Max game. Like, yeah, Mad Max is a fairly big franchise, but who the fuck calls themselves a Mad Max fan? The combat in this game is really good. It's the same fighting system from the Batman Arkham games, and it feels so good to punch those overly tanned men in the head. The combos have real grip, and fighting 10 guys at the same time and winning just makes you feel so badass. But the main thing of this game is the car and everything that's connected to it, from the combat to the customization to the upgrades. At the start of the game you start off with this shitty car that is all rusted, but as you play you visually see it develop up until it's almost the Batmobile with all the upgrades and stuff. But the car combat is so cool, like ramming into stuff and impaling people with the harpoon and blowing them up with the thunderpoon is such great fun. And I've often found myself searching for convoys to just fight them because it's so fun. And having Chum Bucket just sit there in the back and be your sidekick while you commit the most atrocious crimes ever seen is so heartwarming. I love that little hunchback man. And one aspect of the game that ties in really well with the combat, and I think that it's a bit underappreciated, is the world of Mad Max. And I don't really know why, because it's really well made, and I think it was actually pretty hard for the developers to make it this good, because how do you transform a desert, which is usually a barren landscape, into an interesting map for the player to explore? But they managed it, and it's so fun just driving around and smashing into scarecrows and pulling down sniper towers. Plus, the scenery that you sometimes get while driving is so good. And graphically the game holds up pretty well, I would say. Yeah, if you take a look at close-ups of characters, then yes, you can tell it's almost 10 years old, but while driving you can barely tell. But one question that people are asking is why there wasn't a sequel or another game set in this universe. Well, probably there were some licensing problems, but a better reason would be that Avalanche Studios, the studio that made this game, had this set vision on this game and this game alone, and once they were done with it they just moved on. Because realistically speaking now there isn't much else they could do to innovate with another game, so why make it then? Or I don't know, that's just what I think. So in the end Mad Max suffered from really bad luck with the release date. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe and tell me in the comments if you played the game and what you think of it. I will see you soon, goodbye.